All right, so we're at lesson 32 of A Course of Miracles. So far, and I'm just going to go back about a week. We talked about, above all else, I want to see things differently. So it was about seeing and true seeing, right? Then we said God is in everything I see, and we ended last week with God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And so that whole idea that it's our inner world where that comes from. And then yesterday, we gave you this lesson, and that was I am the victim of the world. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Let me do that correctly. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. And so your lesson yesterday was an interesting one, wasn't it? Because it's the first time we changed it up really and said there's just two sessions that we're going to ask that you do, one in the morning and one at night. You may have chose to do the one last night and then maybe this morning, or you may have done one after this meeting yesterday and then last night. So how did that go when you did that lesson on I'm not the victim of the world I see? Who's got anything they'd like to share? Anybody? Bueller? No. So let me ask this question. Did you do the exercise? And you don't have to say yes or no. This isn't a calling out. This is your course. Yet, if you did it and you got struggled with any parts of it, that would be it'd be great to share because I think that's helpful for everybody. All right, so maybe it is. Well, here's what I'll hold out: that we have these conversations about being a victim and being accountable a lot in the company. So that's unusual, I think, for most, and so maybe that's why you are where you are with it, which is fine, which is perfect actually. So let's go back. Then we're going to look at lesson number 32. And it's a little bit of a play off of that one from yesterday. And our lesson for today is this. It is that I have invented the world I see. So yesterday we said I'm not a victim of the world I see. Now we're going to work on the lesson of I have invented the world I see. So it says today we are continuing to develop the theme of cause and effect. You are not the victim of the world you see because you invented the world you see. You can give up the world you see easily as you made it up. Let me say that again. You can give it up as easily as you made it up. So the idea here is that you created the external world that you see. You will see the world made up or not see the world you made up as you wish. While you want to see the world you made up, you will see it. When you no longer want to see the world you made up, that world you made up will not be there for you to see. So this is just, it is cause and effect. It's you calling it up and that's what you see. So the idea for today that I've invented the world that I see, like the preceding ones, applies to your inner and outer worlds. So to both inner and outer worlds, which are actually the same world. So, we think that they're different, but they are the same. However, since you see your inner and outer worlds as different, the practice periods for today will again include two phases, one involving the world you see outside you, and the other, the world you see in your mind. So in today's exercises, try to introduce the thought that both your inner and outer worlds are in your own imagination. So again, we'll begin the practice periods for morning and evening, so just 2 periods per day for today. By repeating the idea for today, and here's how we start. We say that I have invented the world I see. Say that 2 or 3 times while looking around the world you see as outside yourself. So it's the outside, whatever my eyes rest upon. Then after you've done that 2 or 3 times, saying I have invented the world I see, close your eyes and look around your inner world. To try to treat your inner and outer worlds both as equally as possible. Repeat the idea for today that I've invented the world I see unhurriedly and as often as you wish. As you watch the images your imagination presents to your awareness. Now for the 2 longer periods, we're just going to ask that it's 3 to 5 minutes that you spend in those. And again, starting with the outer world and then moving to your inner world with that exercise. And then the other thing it's going to ask is that in between, we ask that you do some short little intervals of this lesson of I have invented the world I see, and all of about maybe a minute each. And so that's just throughout the day. So it starts to show up maybe like an affirmation. where an affirmation might come again and again, or for my bold grads, it'd be like a bold law, right? Where all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's that bold law. You get what you deserve in your imagination, or what you focus on expands, those things. So hold it like one of those, and you may discover something interesting happens for you. Now, these exercises are also to be continued during the day as often as possible. That's what I was talking about, shorter application. Now, the idea for today that I have invented the world I see should also be applied immediately to any situation that may distress you. So if you get a little consternation, a little, pit in your stomach, a little stressed out, to say this lesson is important. So I've invented the world I see, and see what happens when that goes on. So when you apply the idea that I've invented the world I see, you tell yourself this: I have invented this situation as I see this situation. So whatever that is that upsets you, name it, and say, I've invented this because I see this. So again, it's all in our mind. Now, I know this is going to be a little difficult and out there, so let me go a little bit into the explanation of the lesson today. It says the idea that I've invented the world I see is a continuation of the development of the theme of cause and effect, yet it challenges the very core beliefs that our egoic, fear-based thought system rests upon. It questions what is the real cause and what is the real effect. Most have been taught and believe that we are not the creator of the outside world that we perceive. We believe there is a separate world that exists outside of our minds, and that this outside world was created prior to our existence. We've been indoctrinated to assume that there are outside forces that are beyond our control, and these forces have the ability to impact our behavior and our thinking. Our ego tells us that we are not causative of our world, and therefore the best we can hope for is to react to this separate outside world in such a way as to mitigate the negative effects that these outside forces would impose upon us. That's victim speak. This belief that we are not causative agent for our own world leads us towards a mindset that supports the idea that we are an innocent victim of that outside world. Such a thought system is fear-based and disempowering. This mindset fails to empower or encourage the holder of those beliefs. Let me say this again: the mindset fails to empower or encourage the holder of those beliefs to be proactive in his or her life. You can only react; therefore, you must be a victim. Now, it's difficult to be an agent for change when you are told you are a victim of circumstances and forces that are beyond your control. It's one of my favorite statements in all of the Course of Miracles, quite frankly. So it's difficult to be an agent of change when you've been told that you are a victim of circumstance and the forces that are beyond your control. As surprising as it may sound, your ego has a vested interest in keeping you in a state of victim consciousness. This will sound counterintuitive to you because of your deep identification with your ego. You believe that your ego is you. You believe that your ego is you. But this is not your true reality. We will discuss the many benefits of ego that the ego derives from belief in victims and victimizers in greater depth in lessons to come. So it's starting to really kind of chip away at that whole thing about victim and victim mentality and victim behavior and being a victim. And so today the lesson, I think, is a powerful one, because it's just to say, it's, to do that a couple times a day, where you say, the lesson and practice is the lesson itself is that I have invented the world that I see. I have invented the world that I see. I have invented the world that I see. And then reminder that the short sessions could be if something distresses you, label that, name it, whatever that is, and say that instead of saying that I have invented the world I see, say I have invented this issue, and this issue is in the world I see. So that's the way you can manage that conversation. So with that, I'm going to take the screen share off and just ask if there's any questions, thoughts, or clarity that I could bring. I know this one might seem a little confusing, yet they're going to start to layer on it themselves, so it'll get clearer as we move through the rest of the week. So anything? Awesome.
Darren, I have a question for you.
Sure, Drew.
So, in this process of evaluation, um, can you make decisions and commit?
So in the process of these evaluations, can you make decisions and commit? That's the question, Drew.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. You're someday I'm going to get you a great microphone so we can hear you. It's
I
still
know.
I'm teasing. I just remember from when we were at
Uh,
Ignite together.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. Now, ideally, what this might lead to is giving you more clarity about really what is for you, and giving you then better opportunities to commit to decisions quicker. You know, the word decision, if you take it back to its root in Latin, I believe, was to kill off. Actually, it's decide is to kill, right? So CIDE, side, insecticide, herbicide, pesticide, that's to kill. And so when you make a decision, you kill off other options. It sounds really weird, but it really does. To me, that works well because once I've got that decision made, then I can move forward. This might give you clarity. It may not yet, though, because we're still kind of peeling the onion. Now, the one thing to remember too is that there's twice as many lessons in A Course of Miracles towards getting rid of the past stuff that we carry with us, our ego and our egoic mind, what it hangs onto, and then a third of it's about the future. So it's going to take us a while yet, and yet you might start getting more clarity with it. Did that answer the question for you? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. We will see you tomorrow. Jump into some of the training if you've got or the lead gen for certain. It'll move your business forward. Have a good day. Thanks for being here.